Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles, the SUVs, the pond, the pool, the camper, the attitudes. Wow, it's Friday morning. It's a beautiful Friday morning. In fact, it's warming up again up here, so it's not really that chilly. And it's actually going to be a warm day, a beautiful day. I mean, just incredible. Blessed this week for just incredibly nice, beautiful weather. And this is a special Friday because my wife's birthday is today. So happy birthday, honey. Hope you're having a blessed day down there in Tennessee. Hope you're having the beautiful weather we're having here. I think that she is. She's with her mother. So I think she's going to have a fantastic day. And we miss you. But we're up here taking care of business. And we know you're having fun down there. So heading over to the shop. And as always, it's good morning to all the subscribers that follow me and watch me, and appreciate all the support. And as always, I'm trying to figure out what can I talk about to keep the channel going, where you can tune into my channel and feel like you got something out of it. And that's always the goal, that I'm publishing videos that entertain you. And hopefully I do that most of the time, but maybe not all the time. And if you're watching the channel, wow. Wow and wow. So 4 Honda purchases in last week. When my wife hears that conversation on her birthday, she'll probably be like, oh gee, great, thanks. So here we are. It's the trio, the three monkeys, or the 2 Groms and a monkey. And at the last minute, I just couldn't part with that monkey because it brings such back memories to me as a little boy getting going as a motorcycle enthusiast in my life. And I've got my Stars and Stripes on, my Honda hat, which someone called me out, you traitor. You got the American flag on your body, but a freaking Japanese company on your head. What is wrong with you? So let's get the dogs into the office as I get the lights, camera, action going. And interesting enough, was Kiefer even with me? I mean, this is the quietest I've had it yet. What's going on with Kiefer? That's really, okay. I don't even know. That's so strange. I mean, sincerely. But the dogs were outside, and he was inside, versus they're usually all inside, and you open the door out. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just befuddled on this one. And there is the trike. Wow. What such a cool motorcycle trike. Not even knowing that the company is based in Arrington, Virginia, a little over 2 hours from here, where I could literally drive down there and take a tour of the factory. Mike at Timber Conda yesterday was telling me that that company's manufacturing facility in California burnt down many years ago, and they came to closure that they didn't want to be in California anymore because it's just too expensive to operate there. So they went to this very rural, remote place out in the middle of nowhere, where apparently the state and the county enticed them to come there and made it so it would be more affordable for them to make these trikes. So the California Sidecar Company is now a Virginia. Should it be Virginia Sidecar Company? You know, so many years ago, the California name was such the cool, iconic name. But today, not so much. So I bet you if the founder was there, or wherever they are, would say, yeah, in some ways, I'm not so sure the California name qualifies to be on what I create in California, which in so many views and eyes has gone to the ground. I don't know where Kiefer is. This is crazy. Oh, there he is. He's up there. He's doing business. He's participating in his own moments of needing to have relief, I guess. So, Kiefer boy, you okay? Are you okay? Okay, there he is. You're just awful quiet, man. What happened to you, right? What happened to the Kiefer boy? So, qualify is the word of the day. If you just heard me talk about how today, with the same inventor, the same person that created the trike out of California package, would he or she be as excited to continue to carry that name? But I think they would, because that was the true founding, the company, the state, and the good old days, which that's what it is. I think California now can be referenced to the good old days, not to the better days. But if we look at the words of the week, We had on Monday the important conversations. On Tuesday, we had the backward conversations. Wednesday was split conversations. Thursday, it's just a kind of total make conversations. And on Friday, I thought qualify conversations could wrap up this week because the Democratic National Convention wrapped their big party, the big shebang, out last night. And Kamala Harris was able to present why she will be the best next president ever to be. So I haven't, so just so you know, I'm not literally watching the DNC. I can't fathom that. So, but I'm reading the highlights. So anybody watching my channel, if you think I'm sitting in my house, sitting in my camper, sitting out here in the shop, and I'm watching the DNC convention, then you don't know who I am. Because I'm not participating, but I'm just listening to highlights, and I see things in the Wall Street Journal. I see things on Bloomberg. I see things on X. And it's just intriguing to me on how I said it. I said it, how the media blitz, how the biggest advertising blitz you're ever going to see in modern times being gifted to this lady, Kamala Harris. Does this thing have a hitch on it? Oh my gosh. This is so cool. The other night, this is so crazy. I was thinking, what if I want to get a trailer for this thing? This thing has a hitch on it. Oh no, this is going to be, I already got another adventure, everybody. Is that accurate? I got to go get on my hands and knees here. This is so cool because I was literally getting ready to call the company and go, how do I get a hitch? This has a hitch. Look at this. Does it? No. Maybe. It looks like it. I just can't tell. I think it does. Does it have a wiring assembly? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I had a certain angle walking into my garage that this thing actually, that's crazy. Am I excited? I am. Because I want to get a freaking trailer for this thing, everybody. Oh, it just doesn't end. Doesn't end. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we'll talk more about the Kamala, the special Olympics, the special DNC, get that freaking message. So qualify. I think to myself, more than ever today, what is going on? It seems like the qualifications that so many of us were taught growing up, that doesn't really matter so much anymore. It seems like if you're the guy that worked your ass off and you studied your ass off and you had all these credentials, in so many ways it seems like, I think I got a bad cold, man. I'm telling you, I've gotten chilled. I've been running the heat in my freaking camper. I just got so used to this incredibly hot weather. Also going to be just drinking this coffee that gets my GERD, which my GERD, thank God, for the most part, my GERD really has healed, but it's still a little bit there. So anybody that's really watched my channel knows that I've had major GERD issues. Yeah, I feel sorry for anybody out there that can't get over that stuff. It's so bad. Majority of the population has GERD. People don't believe it. Well, if you're clearing your throat half the day, you got GERD. If you're going, well, you realize it or not, you got GERD. My mom argued with me about that for years. She went to the doctor, and they actually talked about that, and come to find out she's had GERD. I think my dad has GERD. But anyways, so qualifications, as well as I do, if you're going to build a car in this country, there's protocol on how that car is qualified to be legal in this country. That's a challenge for somebody who goes overseas and wants to buy a car and bring it back to this country. That European-built car just may not, or wherever it's built in this world, India, could be Africa, could be Czechoslovakia, whatever. Who's over here in my garbage? So probably the dogs. I don't think. What happened to the cat and the fox? I think they disappeared. So, anyways, the whole point is you can go buy a car overseas and have it imported here, and I guarantee there's somebody on my channel has stories that, oh yeah, I had a friend, father, whatever it may be, maybe you try to get a car into this country, port, and you come to find out, no, that car doesn't qualify to be in this country, and you have to spend a lot of money to end up making that thing so it meets the right criteria, it qualifies to be registered in America because of the safety and guidelines. Same thing can go true too for us shipping a car over to Europe. I mean, Europe has some very stringent guidelines. I mean, that was a big thing in California. California gets so much attention because it's the biggest state in the whole country per se. I don't know, is Texas bigger? I don't know, but I think California, from basically runs from the top of America, the United States, to the bottom. I'm pretty sure California is the biggest state in the country, so it's got a lot of leverage. And back in the 70s, when the Environmental Protection Agency really started going after the automotive industry, you couldn't bring a car into California, meaning you had to pass guidelines. So your car, let's just say you lived in Jersey and you had a car and you went to California, in some aspects, your car didn't qualify to pass emissions in California and get registration, where you'd have to have things put on. Now, for me, I was very young at that time. Somebody else may have a better handle on that, but were you required to put a catalytic converter, Cadillac or catalytic converter? People, Mr. Sanchez likes how I say Cadillac, catalytic converter on your car in order for it to qualify to be registered in that state. I think that stuff went on. I think it did. I could be wrong on that, but I think it did. So for California, it's always been, we revolve, this country revolves a lot of things around California because it just has such a majority population that forces the hand. And when I was a young boy, California was the golden state. Back in the 70s, 60s, it was such a cool state to live in and be in because it was like the brand new trend. Everything that was kind of new trended out of the West Coast to East Coast. The East Coast, typically, was kind of the last part of the party. So by the time things got to the East Coast, West Coast had already been partying with whatever brand new or whatever came to be. So for us, when we look at cars and you want to buy a car, do you qualify? I mean, do you qualify to have the income to buy that car? Do you qualify on a credit score to be loaned the money? Do you qualify from your insurance company standpoint to have a reasonable rate to afford that vehicle? That's huge. I mean, in the automotive industry, if you talk to a salesperson, I guarantee you, they can tell story after story after story, sales managers, managers of dealerships, of how many people come in wanting to buy a car, but in the end, they don't qualify to buy it. I guarantee you the list is long. And I guarantee you the salesperson, the sales manager would tell you, I would be doing double the sales of what I do every month if that person that came to buy that vehicle qualified to buy it. Because that's a big challenge. And everybody knows today, more than ever, in my era, back in the 80s of getting credit, in the 90s, was different versus like today. Today, more than ever, you have a credit score. I mean, as we know, the social credit score is growing to, if you qualify to participate in certain things. But the biggest thing today is if you have a credit score, it's so bad in so many ways because you pay higher interest rates if you don't have a good score. So for me, my score is typically in the 600 range, and it's only because I have too much debt. It isn't because I don't make my payments, but it's more about because I have just too much stuff. So my credit score is always in the 600, 620, 680. Now, many years ago, it was in the 700 range, but I didn't have all these vehicles. And I noticed people on my channel, I guarantee, have the 780, 800 range. And those type of credit scores give you more favoritism to qualifying to buy things versus me. Like if I want to go buy a boat, very challenging because my credit score doesn't qualify the criteria that the boat lenders want to see to enable me to buy a boat. That's a fact. I mean, I'm not embellishing that at all. People know that go out and buy luxury things, the dynamics change, whether you qualify or not. And do you qualify with the income that you make to even own what you have? And a lot of people always reaching out, how do you have all this stuff? It's extremely challenging. And I talk about it all the time. It's extremely challenging. It's extremely, I'm just a crazy man, a wild man. If anybody thinks I've got some hidden treasure or some hidden magic, I don't. I mean, I talk about it all the time. How long can I keep it going? how long can I keep the debt and all this debt burden? People, like yesterday when I bought the Grom, and when I go buy cars, people are like, get rid of this, get rid of that. I only wish I could have the value of what I own that was worth more than what I owed on it. So, and that's the challenge because I buy things all the time. As I say on my channel, I would love to hear my subscribers tell me exactly what I owned a year ago versus today. What was here a year ago? And I've had this little conversation before, but sincerely, I would love to hear somebody rattle off and once again, you can go dig through the trove of all my videos, and that's fine. It doesn't bother me, but I would love to hear who here would say what was here a year ago, but what is gone. So just me looking around right now, I mean, it's very obvious. There's a bunch of things right here in front of me right now that weren't here a year ago, but what was in place of it? Yeah. So for me, the point of that conversation is that when it goes for me to go trade something in, my addictions, yeah, it's an addiction. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I've always said I need to start the Car Addictions Anonymous Club, where I start the counseling. You have the guy that's the most probably radical guy that does this stuff. It's not a LeBron James, a Stephen Curry, any incredibly successful entertainer or athlete that has so much money they can buy whatever they want. That's not my story. There's no inheritance of wealth. I'm not the kid from some long line of family history of having money. And no, my mother and father don't have any money. They don't. It isn't derogatory to my mother and father. My father and mother just were hardworking people. So for me, nothing here was just given to me. This has all been hard work and very challenging to keep it because of my car addictions. And yes, and that creates a rife in the life of relationships and finances, and I know all that. But at the same time, I'm the guy that just is always going out and buying something, which goes back to the conversation that, yeah, let's just trade in some motorcycles. Like, let's just take my daughter's Lowrider ST. She's not going to ride that much anymore. So I would not disagree that would be a great idea to trade. There's no way. We bought it last summer, and I traded in a motorcycle for it, and I guarantee that thing right now still has a balance on it of $20,000. That bike is probably worth at best $14,000. So it's a $7,000 upside down number. All right. So then I go, well, do I really need do I really need this Road Glide here? All right, let me get rid of that. Well, I paid basically like 30 grand plus for it, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be probably owed 33, 35 on it. It's probably worth 25 at best, probably 23. So there's a $10,000 check. It's not going to happen. The Breakout, I got a hell of a deal on the Breakout, and once again, this Breakout, it's basically like a $21,000 bike. Use, trade, 15 at best, 16 maybe. Yeah, then I can try to sell it on my own, which I've done that. The Honda Africa Twin, I made the decision not to trade in the Honda Africa Twin for the trike is because I just love the Africa Twin, and the numbers really weren't that much different from me giving up the CB650R, which that was a great idea to do that. So once again, it's just going back to yesterday when I backed out of trading the Honda Monkey, but this is chump change. This is $100 payment. This is nothing. It's nothing. People spend $100 in one evening going out to eat with the wife and a kid. Yeah. Yes. So these are chump change. This is $100. This is $300 a month payments in 3 motorcycles. Well, you know as well as I do, in today's world of buying a motorcycle, one motorcycle typically is a $300 payment. So these are just fun. And some are questioning, why would you have 3 of these? Well, because Brian is really getting into learning how to ride a motorcycle. And for me, this just gives me the chance to be with my daughter and Brian and us ride around on motorcycles. And as time progresses, does he really evolve to another level? He may. I don't know. That's going to be more of him. Brian's very smart, and he's very laid back, and he's very, I give him credit. He goes like, I've ridden today long enough, And yesterday we rode a good 30, 40 minutes, I'd say. Maybe a little longer, maybe 45 minutes. But he got to the point, he's like, I've done okay. He did a wheelie stand yesterday. That was classic. Yes, he did. He popped the clutch too much and gave it too much gas, and the front wheel came off the ground. He's like, whoa. So that was kind of funny. It's on my video. One of the videos hasn't populated because it's so long. And it takes all day. It just takes so much work. It isn't me bitching. It isn't bitching. I'm just sharing with you. It was 9 o'clock at night, and I'm still uploading videos from this Instacamera. Instacamera, hey, good morning there, Don. Don is on the job. He's ready to go drive a truck today. See that? So this Instacamera, you have to transfer all the video onto your phone, and that takes forever. And then you got to create the movie content, and that takes time, and then you got to upload it to YouTube. Oh, it's so much time. It's hours and hours. So like yesterday, very conservative number. I put in 3 hours of video content of me spending minimum of 3 hours. Probably more like 5 hours between me talking in the morning, me then going to dealership, sharing my video content, blah, 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 blah. And and the reason I'm talking about this is because Dan from Canada, thanks for reaching out, Dan. I'm so glad Dan's back on my channel. Dan, this is a great guy out of Canada, and he loves my channel. He's written me some personal emails of the challenges that's been in his life, and it's a very personal thing that I won't get into much detail on because he shared stuff with me that I feel just between he and I. But the point of that conversation is he yesterday reached out and said, he feels so strongly that my channel is so shadowed, that he has seen populate on his end that a warning sign, this content may have misinformation on it. So the reason I'm saying this to you is, do I even qualify in the YouTube world to ever really be big? And I scratched my head, and on the negative side of it, I think to myself, I probably don't. Because even other individuals have reached out and say, your political content just steers too right, and it's just really making it much more challenging for you to grow your channel because you have a conservative, right-minded view. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, but how come Tucker Carlson and Fox News and all these other YouTube videos are on YouTube that have 1 million views? But for me, as a small guy, do I qualify? Is there something going on where in the back end, I'm such a small guy in the YouTube world that many maybe in the back end just don't think I qualify to they want to really help blow my channel up? I don't know. I have no idea. It's all speculation. It's just using the word qualify. Do I qualify to really be in the YouTube community? Because the YouTube community really wants to be more liberal and more independent. I would say more liberal, personally. I would say more, in some ways, maybe woke. And that's the whole thing about what we're witnessing more than ever is on the manufacturing end of Harley-Davidson and other companies that they have been, in some ways, forced to hand that they don't qualify to be in business unless they go woke, unless they go DEI. And that's been a very big challenge for many of these companies because I think they're persuaded by those that are trying to tell them that you're not going to qualify anymore to be the #1 motorcycle dealer in the world, or you're going to be the sought-after brand because you're not being diversified. You're not going, whoa, wow. And we're witnessing it. It's really happening. So, which I know many people, I can guarantee you that if I would have said this like 2-3 years ago, people would be like, Iceman, you're so far off kilter. You're full of it, man. Where are you getting this stuff? Where are you getting this stuff where corporations are favoring people to be qualified to have positions that they really don't qualify for? And that's why I thought this word qualify today would be such a great word to close out the week, because as well as I do, look at Boeing. It means a whole, Pandora's box has been opened up at Boeing, that now you're hearing people call out that Boeing hired people that didn't qualify for the positions that they were responsible for. But yet it continued on. And so for us, more than ever, we're witnessing the people being pushed forward in society that don't really qualify for the titles and positions they have. But then in some ways, some people will take that as a derogatory statement. They'll take it as you're a racist. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So it's a very fine line, as I've said so many times in my channel on the green agenda, is that, here's my plastic. What the heck's going on here? As I walk around my shop to see all this stuff. So for me, it just bugs me to see stuff sitting around. But for us individuals, we're witnessing how favoritism has gone to these people that, in so many ways, have created challenges and problems. But the point of that is, the green agenda, which I've talked about so much, is such a big conglomerate of monies, of the billions of dollars worldwide. They have been able to use that type of power into the qualifications power, where, you know as well as I do, when the green agenda activists are showing up at the board meetings, at the profit or at the public shareholders meetings, they're all just pounding their fist that you as a CEO, you may not qualify to be in this position because of your views and ideas, your ideology. And that's huge. And we're witnessing, for a guy like Jim Farley, he took the bait and he went for all out on going electric on these trucks and cars. But breaking news, Jim Farley is going to go a whole different direction, and he's basically putting on hold the EV aggressive agenda, and he's going to go to hybrids. I mean, that's a known fact. If you read the automotive news, you're going to read about that the so-called next electric Explorer, it ain't coming. The next big factory, it ain't coming. It's being put on hold. GM's doing the same thing. But the point of that is that in the boardroom, I can promise you that these big CEOs, such as like the Puma guy, the tennis shoe guy that took over Harley Davidson and the kitty cat girl, that they had a lot of influence, that they were being told, you may not qualify to run this company anymore because that you're not changing the way things are in the world. And you know, so I do. And so you have a whole pack of people just hounding you as the leader of a company and having pressure put on you, very challenging. So I'm not defending by any means the woke agendas that have come to be in these companies and defending these people that went along with it. But I think it gess very deep on really what happens. All those deer, the deer are just running rampant around here. It's so bad. It is so bad. But the Bambi lovers aren't going to let the free-for-all kill these things because they're just so many. And it goes into the car crashes. It goes in. It's just so bad. It's so bad. So bad. And they're going to run across the road right now. And it's just all timing. If you're in the car and you go down the road, yeah, when you're a motorcycle enthusiast, you just don't like seeing those damn things. As you know, it can play out. I know of many people that have crashed on their Harleys and their BMWs and their Hondas by hitting a deer. It's not a pretty picture. It's possibly life-ending, or possibly you're injured critically for the rest of your life. It's not good stuff. Too many deer. So anyways, the qualifications today in the corporate world in so many ways have changed. It isn't so much about maybe you being the smartest of the bunch and you being an incredibly strong-minded leader and having a vision. It's more about you having to play the game of the ideology. You haven't played the game of the influence of the green agenda. You have to play the game of the wokes. I mean, wow. And that's real stuff. And I don't think it's going to go away. So if I think many things that it's just going to be handled a different way. So they're going to change the wording. They're going to change how it's not so apparent, but it is apparent. I just don't buy into the gig that poof, it's all gone. Sorry, there's too much money out there of this country trying to be changed and society being changed right in front of our eyes. But so many people are like, yeah, what a waste of friggin' time. That ain't gonna happen. No, it won't happen. It'll be all beautiful, man. It's gonna be beautiful. Don't worry. Just don't worry. The political figures that apparently qualify to know how to run companies, apparently qualify to know how to change society. Come on, can you help me out here? Why does a political figure that was just a lawyer most of their life, never really worked in the real world of business, all of a sudden has all these incredible qualifications that as a master of knowing how to run automotive businesses, a master of knowing how to handle trade, a master of how to know to run militaries, a master to know how to help the educational system. The list goes on and on and on. But all of a sudden, the media machine props up an individual that portrays them to be qualified for all these incredible challenges, which we all know is a bunch of malarkey. And that's why it's so aggravating for me as an individual that the media machine, as everybody knows, is out of control. It's out of control. But what are you going to do? I mean, sincerely, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, you're not going to do anything. You don't have the money. We don't have the money. And that's why this guy Starbuck really intrigued me about getting enough social media presence to shut down the so-called DEI at Harley-Davidson. And as the help desk subscriber was mentioning that this guy will be shot and killed eventually because of his accomplishment of pissing off so many that don't want to see it go away, and they want to see that trend continue to grow. And I talked about Victor Davis Hanson, who has a big YouTube channel, on how he was talking about how what has happened in the country's universities, of which you have to qualify anymore to be in a very high level school. And once again, they've taken away the credentials for you to qualify, so everybody qualifies. And that was his message to a really great video. If you go to his YouTube channel, he's a very smart and wise man. And he just tells it the way it is. He exposes on how, more than ever in today's society, that the qualifications don't really matter anymore. It's more just about everybody gets a trophy. And he really emphasizes on how today's college students really aren't that smart. I mean, he really throws it into the college community that these so-called people going to these very high-end universities, that only the select few through SAT tests would qualify you, and your grades in high school would allow you to get in. That's kind of been kicked to the curb. And it's more about just now everybody qualifies. And what he's emphasizing through this video is that the amount of talent isn't coming out of these universities anymore because the level of education has been lowered, which we all know that. We all know that in our country, our level of education is not getting better. Worldwide, we are not ranked that high. So if anybody thinks that this country's education is better than most other countries, you're misled. You're not informed. And so look it all up. I'm not saying America is the worst, but it's not number one. So, and for me, I haven't even looked that up, but I've read it over the years. So if somebody proved me wrong, could be misinformation. As you know, I could be called out that that's misinformation. I could be called out that the professors of the country aren't, or the colleges of the country aren't lowering their standards for people to be accepted. I mean, somebody could call me out on that. They could say, yeah, that's a bunch of malarkey, Mr. Iceman. That's not factual, and you still have to have this point grade. And okay, and I'll take that. Okay, share the information. But why is a guy, Victor Davis Hanson, who's a very astute individual, have a whole video talking about what I'm talking about? So his video should be shut down if he's full of malarkey. But I think most people understand that everybody gets a trophy is at the all-time high, and that's what happens. Now here, so think about this. So if I was a motocross racer, would this 450R Works Edition qualify to be in the class and really to be head-to-head with the next guy on the KTM, the Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, whatever it may be? Soon to be Triumph. Triumph is now, just so you know, Triumph now has from Ricky Carmichael, who helped develop a 250 motocross. So Triumph is in the motocross game. And I don't think there's going to be much gain there. They're going to take some time to get into the motocross circuit. But just so you know, you can go out and buy a 250 Triumph. And I think there's speculation they're going to go to like the 450 class as well. But I'm not the motocross expert. But here's the thing. Would this motorcycle qualify? I mean, I think it would. But the real guy out there would say, well, yeah, but no. But I'm thinking, I don't know, man. This thing's potent as all get out. It's already got some upgrade. And I would think it would qualify to be a very badass motocross bike. But once again, now here's the thing that you have to think about. Do you qualify to ride these motorcycles? That's a whole other conversation. That there's so many people that are motorcycle enthusiasts, but there comes a fine line of what you qualify to be able to ride. because of maybe your weight, your stature, your time of riding motorcycles. And just like me, that Honda Adventure bike, would I ever ride it to the capabilities? No, I don't qualify. I don't have that type of riding experience. I mean, is it cool looking? Is it fun to ride? It is. The Camaro Z28. Would I ever qualify to race that around a track to its capabilities? No. I don't have that. I don't have lessons of life. Keeper, no. Stop eating that. No. Drop it. Keeper, drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Keeper. Come here. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Look here. Look here. Look here. Get that out of your mouth. Yeah, so that's, don't need him eating that, right? So for me, I could lie to people. I could mislead people and say, oh, no, I'm a former, guy that used to race cars and race motocross, and I can do all that stuff. No, I've got nothing to prove here. I just like really cool things. But I can guarantee you there's a lot more people out there than me that are buying these high-end, high-performance cars, high-end, high-performance motorcycles, badass things that'll never ever use them to what they're meant to be used. That's a laughing joke of buying the Bison. Are you really ever going to take that Colorado Bison off the back roads and really just put it to the test of really what it'll do? We ever take the Mojave? I mean, this goes on and on and on. And that's the running joke of society we live in, is that everybody goes out and buys these really cool, really radical vehicles, but they'll never actually be used to what they were built for. It's more about just, for me, to have something really cool, looks cool. So here's the breaking news. I mentioned it yesterday. So my daughter's Mustang does have a bad rear knuckle. So one of the knuckles is defective. So wow, and Metallica was the gentleman that reached out here last Friday or Saturday and said, hey man, you better look at the recalls. But what's interesting is he was thinking about the steering, the steering issue recalls. He wasn't talking about the rear knuckle. I don't think he even knew about that because that just came about. That was just announced on August 14th. So on August 14th, it came to be known that the Ford Mustangs, close to 5,000 Mustangs built last year about this time through September, they got a bad component in the back suspension, a rear knuckle. And so just by luck, Metallica reached out and he was talking about something else, which led to me open my eyes and realize that we've got a problem. And thank God for Metallica, because that could be a really bad ending for my daughter driving that car. And if you watch my channel, you already know that one Mustang Bullitt has been totaled. My daughter last night confirmed it was 2 days before my birthday, February 22nd, 2022. So I have a whole video, sadly, of my daughter on a rainy, cold day of totaling a Ford Mustang Bullitt, even though there's a guy that knows my channel and even watched my channel out of Florida that bought that car as a salvage car and put it all back together, and it looks like it's a brand new car. Wow, that is so cool. And so he actually reached out to me personally through my YouTube channel, even sent me pictures, and wow. And I can't remember the guy's name, but that's so cool. And that's just incredible on how my YouTube channel, on how it does get that exposure, and people, I get to know people through the good and the bad. And so now, trying to wrap this all up because I like to talk a lot. So now, this whole theme this week has been about the Democratic National Convention. And what's so aggravating to me is Barack Obama has just been, in so many words, nominated to be in his fourth term. And I mean, if anybody doesn't believe that, then you're just not really coherent. You're just not really abreast to Barack Obama as a key a component of what's going on in this country. And he's just, since you can't run beyond 2 terms as a sitting president in this country. So the Constitution made it where you can only have 2 terms, 4-year terms, 8 years. After that, you're out. You can no longer run to be a president. So how do you, and the running joke was back when Obama was in power, is that he would be the king of the country because somehow they'd rewrite the constitutional law and they would say he could continue to be reelected, which in some ways, if that was so, would he actually still be in power? Which I think very possibly he would. So the running joke, and for those that are really stay attuned to the political times, I think most will agree that Barack Obama was just nominated again through Kamala Harris. But here's what's so intriguing about what played out with the qualifications of Kamala Harris. And it's all the gambit, the game of how they use Joe Biden as the pawn to shoehorn her in to that nomination. Because she didn't go through the conventional nomination way of going through the primaries to be elected through the DNC party to be the potential next president of the country. And if you know politics, you'll understand that when you're running to become president, you have to go through all these steps and proper qualifications and procedures, and there'll be many other people you'll be competing with to enable you to eventually be able to take that position and be elected as the official Democratic National president to represent the party. But you have to go through criteria and qualifications, and you have to have money. And so the running joke is, we just witnessed on how Kamala Harris was just handed the cake, like you can't believe. Morning, baby. And so what's really disheartening is, for me as an individual, is it's the advertising blitz, it's the giveaway game, and for Kamala Harris, she's being propped up on the pedestal and having favoritism like never ever seen. Because you know as well as I do, there were a lot of other Democratic politicians, I'm sure, behind the scenes that would have liked to have the opportunity to see the primaries come along and for them to have an opportunity to maybe run for presidency. But no, that didn't happen because of the time frame of Joe Biden saying that he was going to stay in office and he would rerun. But then as the time progressed, and they've run out of time now to go through all the proper steps and procedures like the Republican Party did. Remember, Republican Party, Donald Trump had to fight very hard to stay in the primaries to eventually be nominated as the GOP candidate to run for presidency. So for Kamala Harris, that never happened. It was just handed to her like big deal, whoop-de-doo-dah. She's, this is you. Here you go. It's just another qualification that she really didn't qualify. Because if you ever watched the 2020 primaries in the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris got no. She had a very small liking, a very small amount of people even thought she qualified to be running for president, where she didn't last very long. And if everybody remembers right, she was basically calling Joe Biden a racist in so many ways. When she was on that stage, she was making derogatory statements of what she had to do growing up versus Joe Biden. I mean, if any of you remember that stuff, she basically really just punched and slapped Joe Biden around left and right, and only then to be nominated as vice president. But whose decision was that? Was that Barack Obama's? I think it was. Somebody please reach out my channel and let me know what former sitting president, after they ended their second term, moved into D.C. and was within 2 blocks of the White House. Would somebody please share with me another individual that was a former president of this country and then now sets up shop where now he's been down in D.C., 8 plus years? And so, yeah, and so some people may take offense to it, but you know what? I'm sorry to have to just tell you the way it is. The way it is Barack Obama is on a mission that for you and I, sadly, may not qualify to be the U.S. citizen you think you are. That sounds radical, but for the ultimate goal and dream of Barack Obama, it's not for you to know this country as you know what it was. And you won't know this country when he's done with what he tries to accomplish. And some people are like, man, that's so far-fetched. Well, just keep drinking the Kool-Aid, and that's really the message the media wants you to do. The message of the media is that do you qualify to listen to us, but you have no choice. And that's really what's so sad about it. So that's why I'm going to leave it at that. End it, long conversation, and we got to go ride some motorcycles. Beautiful day, Friday, go have some fun. And what's the next adventure? With me, you never know. Do I know? Sometimes even I don't even know. But it's all good. So just leave it at that. Do we get a car show in on Sunday? Possibly. See how the weather is. Do we do motorcycle riding? We should. I want to ride the trike. So, and the kid wants to ride too. So as always, thanks for watching my channel. Appreciate all the support. God bless and have a great day.